leopard beast in Daniel is symbolic as the type to come of the leopard beast throughout Revelation. It is not just incidental that Greece, out of all these beasts, is represented by the leopard, like in Revelations. That was also one of the most diverse in denominational divisions in its religious belief system. But this beast in Daniel represents the Grecian Empire and wasn't in Acts, specifically when Paul and the other apostles were visiting Athens, Greece. In Acts 17:16-34, they found Greece was a nation that held multitudes of religions, even having a shrine to the unknown God. If you look into it further, among all these religions, they had a main religion that for the most part was a religious belief system based on a specific set of deities and idols. These deities can be traced all the way back to ancient Sumeria. One of the deities, Dionysus, lineage can be traced through Bacchus, Saturn, Kronos, Horus, all the way to Nimrod. All are associated with this leopard and are the god of drunken rivalry and ecstasy, and the son of the main deity, Zeus, Tammuz, Osiris, so on. Each was surrounded by the same basic belief systems, and all are deeply associated with the mystery schools and their secret societies. These cities in ancient Greece, each city paralleled the multiple denominational churches of our modern-day church. It's also ironic how this shrine to the unknown God parallels the Christians of our day, worshiping in the churches of Babel, the beast institution, worshiping Satan, thinking they are worshiping the true God, who really is unknown to all who claim to confess Christ and claim to follow him and believe in him. Remember, he says, "Away from me, I never knew you. I will spew you out of my mouth because you are lukewarm." They didn't believe in him in their heart, and he couldn't come and dwell in them, so he knows they're not his. It was only feigned affection. Each city church put their own denominational twist, pathways of knowledge to this religious belief systems, creating a multitude of diverse and varying paths of doctrinal interpretation, spots of the leopard beast. This belief system was their Catholicism of their age. Interesting enough, Catholicism has the same deities. You can add these right onto all the others. However, their main deity, Dionysus, who was associated with the leopard, if we delve a little deeper, you can essentially trace him back to Nimrod himself through the spotted leopard or fawn. Nimrod not only dressed in leopard skin, but was referred to as a subduer of the leopard, or the leopard himself. But when he called upon his religious priesthood to perform ceremonies, they were to be attired in leopard skin clothing. Even in the Bible, Nimrod was known for building the Tower of Babel, and no matter what you think or believe the Tower of Babel is, it is undeniably represents the first false religious belief system that rose up to blaspheme God, our Creator. The following are historical references. Kronos was the first king of Babylon, or Nimrod. This was the way in which Osiris, the son, the husband of his mother, was often exhibited, and what we learn of this god equally, as in the case of Kron, so shows that in his original he was none other than Nimrod. This tells us that on the highest occasions, when the Egyptian high priest was called to officiate, he was indispensable that he should do so wearing as his robe of office the leopard skin, as it is a universal principle in all idolatries that the high priest wears the insignia of the god he serves. This indicates the importance which the spotted skin must have attached to it, also the symbol of the god himself. When we find that Osiris, the grand god of Egypt, under different forms was thus arrayed in a leopard skin or spotted dress, and that the leopard skin dress was so indispensable as part of the sacred robe of his high priest, we may be sure that there was a deep meaning in such a costume. And what could that meaning be but just to identify Osiris with the Babylonian god, who was celebrated as a leopard tamer and who was worshipped even as he was as Ninus, the child in his mother's arms. Subduer of the spotted one, for such is the precise meaning of Nimr, the name of the leopard, but to be called the spotted one himself. Nimr signifies the spotted one. Thus, when it becomes easy to represent Nimrod by the symbol of the spotted fawn, and especially in Greece, the name of Nimrod, as known to the Greeks, was Nibrod. The name of the fawn, as the spotted one in Greece, was Nibros. And thus, nothing could be more natural than Nibros, the spotted fawn, should become a synonym for Nimbros himself. The Bacchus of Greece was symbolized by the Nibros, or spotted fawn. He was symbolized covertly to identify him with Nimrod. We have evidence that this god, whose emblem was Nibros, was known as having a very lineage of Nimrod. Nimrod, the son of Cush, now as Bacchus was the son of Cush, he was represented in that character as Nin, or the son. He was portrayed as a youth or child, and that youth or child was generally depicted with a cup in his hand. That cup, to be the multitude, exhibited him as a god of drunken rivalry. This parallels the harlot on the beast with the cup of wine, drunk on the blood of the saints. Thus from Assyria, Egypt, and Greece we have cumulatively and overwhelmingly evidence that all conspiring to demonstrate that the child worshipping in the arm of the goddess mother, especially in Catholicism, the same God, in all these countries, in the very character of Ninus or Nin, the son, was Nimrod, the son of Cush. That child Nimrod was a prototype, the grand original. Nimrod, now the name given to him in connection with his gathering men together and offering idolatrous sacrifices of the false religions, is very significant. For men who will readily rally around anyone who can give the least plausible doctrine which will teach that they can be assured of heaven at last, though their hearts and natures be unchanged, and though they live without God in their world. According to the system which Nimrod was the instrument in introducing, men were led to believe that a real spiritual change of the heart was unnecessary, and that they could be regenerated by mere external means.